Hello there, and welcome to my channel, Novice Modelling and the Midlife Crisis. My name is Andy, and look what I have created. It's a bit late, as per usual, but I finished the MPM Fokker T-Viii WG float plane that took part in our Dutch You Choose My Next build, which also featured a Fokker TN, a Fokker D23, a Fokker D5, a Fokker D21, and a Fokker G1A. All the Fokkers, so you could possibly say. So we're going to run through briefly the build of this kit, the difficulties that I kind of experienced as a novice modeller, and some of the blatant errors and cock-ups that I may have made. But this is what I'm here for, you know. So the actual build of the kit, I mean, it is a you could maybe say a short run kit with sort of interesting build features. One of the main ones being a total lack of any sort of mating points on the kit, in particular around the floats and their struts. Obviously there are no mating points in the wings or the fuselage either. Now some people say this is so you can line it up yourself perfectly, which you can't actually do when you've actually got pins and plugs on your kit. So it's a learning experience for me, and I think I kind of did okay at mating it up in some places, but in some places it didn't seem to work quite right. So let's have a look at where I had problems. I mean, I had problems with the mounting the floats, because there were no real indications as to exactly where the floats with the struts for the floats were supposed to go. There were some very, very fine markings on some parts of the plastic, but they weren't that much use, to be honest with you. I had to resort to measuring and putting pencil marks all over the place just to try and get it right. And even then, I think maybe something else was misaligned somewhere, which caused more problems, shall we say. I think it might be that this wing here, as you might be able to see just in this corner here, has got a bit of a dip on it by about probably about 0.5 mil maybe, or something like that. But these are the sort of minute fractions that are very important to getting these things right. We've also got a slight misalignment on our tail struts as well. Again, no mating points, and again this might be more down to the fact that the tail isn't quite straight, but it looks pretty straight to me. So it's kind of a groping in the dark kind of thing for someone like myself. Putting a nice kit like this in the hands of a novice is maybe not a great idea, but these are my kits and I can do what the hell I like with them. Plus I've actually got another one of these, so I can have another go at some point in the future. As per usual, we kind of struggled with painting up of our cockpit canopies, and this is what's taken the delay. I mean, I've had paint on this, paint off it. I've accidentally knocked bits of paint off when I've been rubbing it, and it just didn't seem to be getting any better. In fact, it seemed to be getting worse every time I tried to make it better. So in the end, I just threw my hands in the air and said, I give up, you know. But on the plus side, the painting came out pretty well with the new painter, but because we were faffing around with it so much, we managed to chip it several times, and we made a bit of a bodge job of trying to colour it back in. When we were drilling this hole in here, because there was no hole in here for this, I think this might be a pitot tube or something, I'm not quite sure. We managed to put a big scratch on the paintwork with our drill. Trying to get these little ladders onto the wing was a bit of a nightmare, causing blobs of slightly discoloured paint, because obviously this is out of the tub and not out of the airbrush. The paintwork is kind of patchy underneath. It was difficult for me to get paint into these areas with the struts in place, so I don't know, maybe painting it first and mounting the struts when it was painted would have been a better idea. But this was a toughie, but I enjoyed it, you know. But it was a tough kit to get over the line, and I do think I probably could have done a little bit better with it, to be honest with you. But them's the breaks, aren't they? So what What did we use? We used CA UK Black, we used Tamiya Extra Thin, Tamiya Cement. Paint wise it was pretty simple. It was dark iron went on the inside. Obviously we used flat aluminium. There was some XF1 black on the interior and on the propellers. I actually managed to put the harnesses in, which were photo etch on this, and they were running XF79. There's orange here by ICM and white by ICM as well. For the eagle-eyed amongst you, you may notice that the rudder has not got a decal as per the box art. These are the decals out of my spare one of these, and it's a kind of very strange sort of setup because it's got a blank orange to put on here, which is quite oversized. And when I say quite oversized, I mean by about 4 mil. It's like 4 mil too big all around. And the idea is that you paint the black edge on the decal. And first off I thought, well, what the hell's that all about? I mean, you put the black edge on the decal for the triangles, why couldn't you put the black edge on there? I'm kind of thinking it was to try to fold the orange decal around so you get a full wrap around on the rudder, but it was too much on there to fold it around. It would have caused a lump. So I decided it would be a good idea to try and cut it with the knife, and that turned out to be a real dumbass idea because when it was in place it just literally just broke into bits. Lesson learnt for next time there, I suppose you could say. So what we then thought about doing was we thought, well, we'll paint it orange, because we didn't really want to use these decals, because push comes to shove one day I might decide I want to sell this, and without the decals it's useless almost. So I kind of decided to paint the rudder orange. It seemed like the logical choice, apart from the orange is massively different in colour. So we tried adding some white, and we ended up with a salmon orange instead. Various goes at this didn't result in anything better, so we thought, well, what will happen if we just paint the rudder orange? And this is our P59 Mustang that's rather infamous for being attacked with a Black & Decker floor sander, which is a painting mule, and the colour is just massively off. So I just thought, no, I'm just going to leave it plain, and that's the way it's going to be. That's the way it's going to end at the end of the day. So we've had some problems on this. I mean, the initial build of it, just sort of putting the basics together and painting the interior up and whatnot, it kind of went together well. But then as soon as we started messing around with these floats, it just seemed to go a little bit hairy, and then I was constant frustrations with this bloody huge canopy. I just kind of gave up on it, to be quite honest with you. I just couldn't be bothered anymore. So yeah, lesson learned for trying some of these slightly more difficult and odd kits. I think that maybe we'll sort of back off some of those for a while, certainly in the aircraft with big canopies anyway, because we need to get our heads around doing these canopies, which I should have done by now, but it's just not sinking into my brain. He says, drinking his orange premium Dutch lager, because I've got a bit of a sore throat. We also tried panel liner on this as well, which has kind of worked in some places. It's worked here on the ailerons, it's worked on the rudder, it kind of worked underneath a bit, it kind of worked on a bit of the float that we tried it to, but in a lot of areas it didn't seem to want to stick. And this is possibly down to there being too much paint on here, or maybe the panel lines are too small to actually get the panel liner in. And I tried varying time delays before rubbing the excess off as well, from sort of 20 minutes to 3 hours, and I still couldn't get the stuff to sort of stay into the actual lines that I wanted it to stay in. So again, we're learning with that, and I think it's a combination of too much paint and maybe very, very, very thin panel lines. I'm not quite sure, but we'll try it on something else in the future and we'll see how we get on with it, because that's all we can do. We can just try again with these things, and eventually we'll become better at it. So we're definitely keeping a novice tag for the moment. We're not going to be moving up to any mediocre level until certainly next year. I would like to remind you that we do actually have another You Choose My Next build on. We're moving on to the 135 kits now. First available for this one is this Pit Road Imperial Japanese Type 97 motorcycle Rikuo with sidecar. which is kind of unusual. We've got this really quite rare, it seems, Gnome Roan AX2 by Redux Models. This is actually a Hella kit from 1978 with a whole load of extra parts added. That looks nice. We've got the current new-ish Tamiya KS600 motorcycle and sidecar. And we're playing that off finally against the Soviet M72 sidecar with crew, which coolly actually comes with 2 sets of figures. I didn't realise this originally. Comes with a fighting pose set and a rather jovial accordion and boozy set as well. So that's actually much cooler than I thought it was when I first looked at it. So there's another one for the cabinet. Anyway, I'll just give you a quick look at the cabinet because it's actually full now and I need to do a bit of sorting out. So we've got a whole load of Japanese stuff up here that we built last year. We've got a Horsa glider, an ME110, a Romanian IRA 80. We've got a Titanic, a Dakota, a PZL-23, a Fokker D21 for the fins. We've got our PZL-37, our Y-Wing fighter. We've got a load of scrap there, basically, which I think that's going to be finding a new home. And a load of 172 D-Day stuff. And our bigger scale at the bottom are tanks and the Iron Maiden Spitfire. So we're going to be adding to the 135s next. So if you'd like to check those videos out, we'll be starting the build on one of those in a couple of days. And obviously we would appreciate you voting and getting involved with the democracy that I like to put onto the channel by letting you guys pick what I build. So this is purely for medicinal purposes, you understand, because I've got a sore throat. We're going to have a last swig until we do another Dutch aircraft of the Heart of Out Citroen Geneva sent by Hendrik a couple of months ago. I don't think that's going to work. I don't think that's going to work. So thanks very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. And as always, be seeing you. God, I hate that canopy. Yeah.